Hey everybody, MrThefanboy here, Douglas Blair Roberts here. It's time for another video, and as you can see by the title above, this is the first part of a video series I initially canceled. This is the first part of my WrestleMania 34 weekend review series. Going to be starting things off with WrestleCon 2018, which happened this past Thursday, April 5th. A show I didn't even know about, but the website I go to, watchwrestling.uno, had this listed in the recommendation box for brand new, newly uploaded wrestling shows. For those of you who want to see this show, the links will be in the description box below, just in case you can't spell watchwrestling.uno. But what a phenomenal wrestling show this was. This is the webcam portion. This is a webcam narration. You know how this is. The intro will be webcam, and the narration part, the second part, the review portion of this video will be narration part. In the future, I'm going to be doing a full-length webcam version, and I'm also going to be doing a brand new, newly video series created where I review the individual matches from shows instead of trying to review the entire wrestling show, because one problem I have with show reviews, full-length show reviews, is that I constantly forget. I can't remember every spot in every moment in every match or segment of a show, so I'm going to do a new video series focusing on individual review segments and individual matches. With that being said, let's get started. I initially was going to do this past weekend, but NXT and WrestleMania 34 were so damn terrible. They killed my interest in reviewing any form of wrestling. But Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground, the show I wanted to see, but I didn't think I would get a chance to see because it was on the Twitch, which I can't afford. The WrestleCon show, which I didn't even know happened. Before that, the WrestleCon show that happened that Thursday. The Impact versus Wrestling versus Lucha Underground show was Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view called Supercard of Honor. I was initially going to do this was going to be a 5-part with NXT and WrestleMania, but I decided I didn't want to watch either one of those terrible shows again. So this right here. And as such, I only care about what happens outside of WWE. I don't care about WWE because WrestleMania and NXT were so damn terrible. I only care about what happens outside of WWE. Only reason besides my favorite wrestlers being in WWE, one of the only reasons I watch WWE besides some of my favorite wrestlers now, excuse me, being in WWE was because um, I'm trying to reach a certain number of subscribers. I have a long way to go. I have a long way to go before I reach 10,000 subscribers. I was initially against this idea, but I decided to set my videos up for monetization. Since I love to do this, I love to do this. This will also help my. This will also help with my. With one of my careers is to be an actor. This will also help with that career. Since I love to do these videos, I decided to set my account up for monetization. It was initially 100. It was initially 100 subscribers. Now it's 1,000. It's not 10,000. It's 1,000 subscribers. I don't know why I thought it was 10,000, but it's now 1,000 subscribers now. So but I have a long way to go before I reach 1,000. In the meantime, I'm also gonna find websites outside of YouTube for stuff like that, for partnerships and stuff like that. But with that being said, let's continue. But that's the only other reason I watch WWE, and WWE happens to be the most popular. I want to talk more about the other wrestling products, and of course, old school wrestling, back when wrestling was good. Old school wrestling, what I like. What I like. That's why I watch the Indies, Japan, New Japan, CMLL, Mexico, and the British wrestling companies. They remind me of the old school wrestling days. The territories, and WCW days. That's what I want in wrestling today. How awesome wrestling was in the 90s and 2000s. That's what I want today. So yes. So yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. So with that being said, let's get started. Yeah, deep breaths, deep breaths. Hey everybody, Mr. the Fanboy here, Douglas Blair Roberts here. It's time for another video, and this time, as you can see by the picture above and the title above, this is a video I initially meant to do this past weekend. This is my WrestleMania weekend review series. I was initially going to do this video starting Saturday and Sunday, but the NXT shows and the WrestleMania 34 premiere event itself, both of those shows disappointed me so much that they just killed my mood. They just killed my interest in mainstream professional wrestling, man. And I decided to do and I decided to and I decided to do just a long short rant on both of those shows. But since I got done watching WrestleCon and Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground and the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which I enjoy very much, very much, I decided to restart my WrestleMania review series. And as you can see by the title above, the very first show I'm going to start off with was a show I didn't know even took place, and it took place this past Thursday, and that was the premier WrestleCon event, not the Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground event, but there was another event featuring some of the same wrestlers from Impact Wrestling and Lucha Underground, New Japan, and another promotion called Wildcat Sports, which is headed and created by independent wrestler Luke Hawks. But yeah, this is the first show I'm talking about. Now, to tell you the truth, this was an awesome show. This was an awesome show. This was an awesome. However, the first part of the show I initially didn't care for, so I'm only going to talk about certain parts of the show. I'm only going to talk about Sorry, it's my dog barking at something. I'm only going to talk about certain parts of the yeah, like I said, I'm only going to talk about certain parts of the show. Certain parts of the show. The first several matches I didn't care about. The first match I did watch, that was Pentagon Jr. or Penta OM as he called himself on this show, defeating Joey Janela via pinfall with the Falcon Arrow. With the Falcon Arrow. This was an awesome fight to start. This was an awesome fight to start the show. The next match of the night, I skipped this part. It had Joey Ryan coming out in a superhero, coming out in a bodysuit with trunks, in a skin tight bodysuit with trunks, and him mocking the crowd, pulling out a razor and some soap and telling him this is what this is. And his opponent was Jerry the King Lawler. This started off terrible. This was a stereotypical character gimmick match, and that's not something I wanted to see. This show could have used Joey Ryan much better, and Jerry the King Lawler, I still think at this age could have had a better match, a more modern competitive match with Joey Ryan. So like I skipped this part. I also skipped the next match, which was the 8-man tag, the 8-man the 10-man tag, the 10 persons tag team match between the females Tessa Blanker, Tina Dashwood, Nicole Savoy, Shazam McKenzie, and Penelope Ford, taking on MJF, Zayn Riley, Jake Manning, and of course Caleb Conley and Trevor Lee, the Code of Lee from Impact Wrestling. Like I said, I skipped this match, but from what I was seeing when I was trying to fast forward during this part, this match seemed to be okay. However, I didn't want to see the Code of Lee jobbing to a group of women, So I skipped this part. Next match of the night. This was the first. Oh, after the Pentagon Junior match, this was the first official match I saw. That was Tomohiro Ishii taking on Jeff Cobb, who of course, aka Matanza from Lucha Underground. But this was Jeff Cobb is just like Abyss. It's just like Abyss and Braun Strowman. He wrestles under two different gimmicks. He wrestles under two different names at different times. This was Matanza without his bodysuit and mask, without his prison suit and mask on. And this was a good match. How I would prefer Jeff Cobb portray his Matanza gimmick in this match, and seeing Matanza versus Ishii, that would have been an awesome fight right there. But this was still a pretty good fight. This was the stiffest and toughest fight of the night. Wasn't the best match of the night, but it was the toughest fight of the night, and Ishii won with a brainbuster. Next match featured 4 wrestlers. I have no idea who they were. 4 luchadors, but they were awesome, and that was Rey Fenix and Ray Horace taking on Bandito and Flamito, 2 luchadors who I heard from the announcers. The announcers were Super Dragon and some other guy from PWG. The second 2 wrestlers, Bandito and Flamito, were from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Like I said, awesome match. Don't remember the finish, but this was an awesome fight. This is when the show really started getting good. Now, for one of the best matches of the night, the last 3 matches, I'm going to talk about were the best matches of the night. The main event I chose to skip, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. The last 3 matches I watched were the best 3 matches of the night. That was the Mexicools, Super Crazy, Psicosis, and a newcomer named Chico El Luchador. I think he's from the Crash promotion, taking on Jason Cade, Matt Classic, aka Colt Cabana, and Teddy Hart. And this was an awesome fight. The match ended after several spots and several minutes of action. The fight ended when Super Crazy rolled up Cade. Everyone in the match performed well, man. Everyone in the match. Of course, I was here to see Matt Classic, Teddy Hart, Psicosis, and Super Crazy, and of course Hoovy, who was in their corner, but I could have sworn I thought he was on the card wrestling. But everyone performed well, and the Jason Cade guy and the Chico El Luchador guy were also good. So I came for Matt Classic, Teddy Hart, Psicosis, and Super Crazy, and they didn't disappoint. Super Crazy, 40-something years old, still getting it done in the ring. Even though he definitely has aged, but he still gets it done in the ring, man. Awesome fight right here. Next match of the night was Will Ospreay taking on Sammy Guevara, Shane Strickland, and Adam Brooks. I liked everyone in this match except for Shane Strickland. Who was good too. However, he in comparison to everyone else in the match, he was a vanilla midget. Yet Adam Brooks, who is like a young Chris Sabin and Angelico, and an American version of Angelico, and you got Sammy Guevara, who I know he wrestled on a Anarchy NWA Anarchy wrestling show here in Georgia several years back, but a couple of years back. But yeah, I was rooting for my man Will Ospreay, and he didn't disappoint despite having to sell injuries in this match. his upper body, his upper body was taped up, but despite all that, that didn't stop him in the ring. He still performed well. The Adam Brooks guy and Sammy Guevara were the MVPs in the match, but Ospreay did good for a guy who had to sell injuries. That didn't stop him from hitting all his moves, and in one awesome spot, I think it was on Sammy Guevara or Adam Brooks, I can't remember, hitting a German suplex, hitting a released German suplex while still trying to have to sell a neck injury. Awesome psychology and wrestling, and awesome display of psychology, wrestling, and athleticism, man. So yeah, like I said, another awesome fight, man. The last fight I watched, this wasn't the main event, but this was the last fight I watched. That was Minoru Suzuki, Brian Cage, and David Starr taking on Juice Robinson, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan. The match ended. The match ended with Suzuki hit an arm bar on Sami Callihan. Like I said, another awesome fight. I came for Juice Robinson, Tanahashi, Sami Callihan, Suzuki, and Cage, and they didn't disappoint. David Starr, he did a good job too. Awesome fight. It was so much. It was too much action. It was too much action to calls. Minoru Suzuki, if I had to choose, Minoru Suzuki was probably an MVP of the match. But everyone did a good job. Minoru Suzuki, there was a rivalry between him and Callahan throughout the fight. Like I said, the fight ended when Suzuki hit what you call it, hit the armbar on Callahan, and Callahan was forced to tap out. Then at the end, Suzuki was gonna break Callahan's arm, but his teammates and the referee convinced him not to, and Callahan escaped out of there. At the end of the match, another awesome spot. At the end of the match, after the match was over, Suzuki called Tanahashi to come back in the ring, and the two brawl with Suzuki winning. Like I said, an awesome show, an awesome night of fights. I didn't even know this show took place. I saw it advertised. I saw it in the I saw it on the website I go to watch my wrestling and MMA. But I didn't know this show take place. According to the announcers, this show was on High Spots. But like I said, this show and the Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground show, which I'm going to review that next when I'm finished with this video, these were the real WrestleManias, man. So was Supercard of Honor. That will be the third video I'm going to do. And I'm going to finish it off with re-reviews and rants on NXT and WrestleMania 34. But like I said, man, what an awesome weekend of wrestling. This was the real WrestleMania. I love the auditorium, the WrestleCon auditorium they were in. And after seeing both of these awesome events, I can't wait for WrestleCon next year, or the next big time wrestling event they have this year, later on this year. The next time they have a wrestling event where they have wrestlers from different promotions coming together to put on an awesome show, competing against each other to put on competing with one another to put on an awesome show. I can't wait for the next big time wrestling show like that, which features wrestlers coming together for an awesome show for the fans, man. But like I said, this right here was the real WrestleMania. Well, this was my review of WrestleCon. This was the first in a series. This was the first in a 6-part video series. This is also in the first. I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna group my videos into different categories, and this will be in the archived video section. This is for shows that happened rather recently. However, for certain reasons, I just didn't review or talk about them when they aired. Talk about them to air, and I'm reviewing them now. I'm gonna do a lot of shows like this. Retro reviews will be classic wrestling reviews, wrestling shows from years ago, yesteryear. Well, like I said, I'm done. Awesome show.